Well, let's get straight to our next guest to talk about, wherever we are in terms of all these investigations and who knew what when relating to people's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Lord Foulkes is joining us. He's Labour peer and former minister under Tony Blair. Good morning to you, Lord Foulkes.
Good morning, Julia.
This story is getting messier and messier and messier with the arrest of Lord Mandelson yesterday. Of course, he's denied any wrongdoing in relation to his relationship to Jeffrey Epstein. We must keep stressing that. He hasn't actually been charged with any crime. But a lot of people are saying that this story is going to drag on. We still haven't got the information that people asked for in that humble address tabled by the Tories a few weeks ago, asking for information about his appointment as our ambassador to the US. But isn't this all coming back to Keir Starmer, where the whole thing is... This would be a story about a minister under Blair, a minister under Gordon Brown. And Keir Starmer has made it about his own poor judgment in appointing someone with such a poor track record to be our most senior diplomat only a year or two ago?
I think it's a tribute to British justice that a former prince and a peer have been arrested in the United Kingdom, whereas none of the people, as your caller said earlier, none of the people in the United States who've been mentioned in the Epstein files have been arrested at all. But, Julia, what I'm more concerned about is that no action has yet been taken in relation to the so-called Lolita flights into Stansted Airport, where there were young girls from Latvia, Lithuania and Russia transported in for sex. And Gordon Brown has sent a big dossier to the police. And this is really worrying. Of course, misconduct in public office is worrying, but the way in which these young girls were trafficked is extremely worrying. And I would hope that we will see some quick action in relation to that.
Well, we don't necessarily know the age. A lot of these women are just counted as female. A lot of them were over age. But again, it's interesting. Gordon Brown's got this information now. I don't know where he's been for the last few years. Must have been busy doing something else. But you say no action. These revelations only came out, what, a week ago or so? I'm sorry. I don't know if you've reported a crime to the police in recent years. If there had been action by now, I would have been absolutely bloody astounded.
Some time ago they came out, and I've put down some questions. I put down some last year, and I put down some a few weeks ago, because the border force and the airport will have information about the flights coming in, and this information must be available, and so they should be looking into taking some action. So I don't think you should play that down, particularly you as a woman, because that is really worrying, whether they were underage or not. The fact that they were being trafficked in.
Why do I? I'm interested, because this woman card is being played an awful lot by a lot of presenters about this. Why do I care more about women being victims of sex abuse than man should? Or do men just not care?
No, I accept that. Yeah, I'm not just as concerned as you, but I would hope you would be concerned, and I would hope you would be pressing this.
I am, but the thing is, look, the reality is, and again, I wasn't aware those allegations had been available so early. That had escaped my knowledge. I'm trying to keep on top of all of these issues. But again, the crimes of Jeffrey Epstein are appalling. He's now dead. I suppose what I'm more concerned about mostly now is whether or not people in Britain were involved in those crimes of any sort, whether it was misconduct in public office or the abuse of young women, and whether that was allowed to continue with people in full knowledge of it because they were powerful people and well-connected or members of the royal family. That, I think, is a lot of the concern that I think a lot of my audience have, that there's one rule for them and one rule for us.
Absolutely. The rich and powerful have seemed to be able to do anything they want, and that is worrying, and it's still the case. I think particularly down where you are in London, the rich and powerful still get together and party, including the media, by the way. They turn up in all these parties too. As well. I mean, most of you in the media are more rich than politicians these days.
But no, people being friends, people getting together. Look, people will know. There are various people I'm friends with who I'll interview on the show, and I'm quite happy to monster them and take them apart if I think they're talking nonsense. Now, I'm of the view an awful lot of people in the media don't do that and don't hold people to account. And
I agree.
I'm pretty sure there's quite a lot of people in the media. I could tell you exactly how they vote based on who they give a soft soaping ride to. But how worried should we be? Because I mean, everyone's sort of putting their tuppence worth in now. And you've got Ed Davey, the Lib Dem leader. He's tabling this humble address in the Commons today. There's going to be debate about what was known at the time that Andrew was appointed, as was Prince Andrew, as our UK trade envoy. Now, this is a man who, when he was a Lib Dem minister in the coalition government, was praising the work of Andrew and saying how outrageous it was that a Labour backbench MP was criticising him. And he says today, his justification today to the BBC was, I didn't really know much about it, didn't read my brief, which is remarkably similar to why he didn't look into the post office scandal. Turns out Ed Davey was a really rubbish government minister. He didn't know anything that was going on at all about anything in his brief. But
hindsight is wonderful, Julia, isn't it? Afterwards, it's easy to see what went wrong and say, oh, no, this shouldn't have happened.
There were plenty of rumours. There was stuff in the papers. There was loads going around about how appallingly behaved Andrew was and how he was not an asset. He was a problem.
I agree, and some people should have shouted louder. It was the same with the Mandelson appointment. I mean, I think Nigel Farage said it was an inspired appointment at the time. He's just the man to deal with that awful man in the White House.
Yeah, he did.
And it was only when the real truth came out that Keir Starmer moved quickly and sacked him at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Except the difference is that Nigel Farage, again, I don't think he was right to say that, but the difference is that Nigel Farage wouldn't have seen the security vetting. I don't believe for a nanosecond that the security vetting didn't say, this guy's got form, there's an issue, he still mates with this guy, he stays at his home. Not ideal. I mean...
Keir Starmer is much better than you and the media give him credit for.
Is he?
I know him well.
What evidence do you have for that statement?
Yes. No, I know him and know exactly what he's doing. And
he doesn't know what he's doing. So how do you know what he's doing?
He admits when he makes mistakes and
no, he doesn't.
Yes, he did. He look at that. Show that again when he said, "I'm sorry." Look at the number of times.
He had to be dragged kicking and screaming to that after Mandelson was sacked.
Not at all. I would hope that
he defended him. He defended him.
I would hope some of you in the media would admit when you make mistakes from time to time.
I admit when I make mistakes.
But he is going to. He's. I think he's leading the country very well. And but
you may be alone in that. I'm not even sure his own cabinet
I'm
think that.
Certainly not alone. There are thousands, millions of people who are coming around to that.
He's got the lowest poll ratings of any prime minister
because
in modern history.
He's been monstered. He's been monstered by you and the right-wing media.
Oh, me and the right-wing media. He gets and has had the most remarkably soft ride to the general election and since, from the BBC, Sky and others who are absolutely card-carrying Labour Party members.
Oh, rubbish. Absolute rubbish. That's nonsense. None of them.
But nothing he's criticised for has been sort of a made-up conspiracy. It's all been of his own doing. He gets monstered by his own backbenchers. He gets monstered.
I criticised him on the winter fuel allowance decision, and it was a mistake. I wrote an article.
I thought you knew what he was doing.
But he changed it. He's had
15 U-turns. You think a man who's had to U-turn 15 times knows what he's doing?
You call them U-turns. What I say is listening to people making representations.
A good prime minister, a good leader, listens before he announces policy, particularly a policy that was none of the things he's U-turned on have been things that were actually in his actual manifesto. He just goes, oh, we're just going to ban jury trials for most people. We're just going to cut the winter fuel allowance. He U-turns because he has taken poor advice from people that he has chosen to appoint to advise him. So it's down to him. And then he doesn't talk to anybody else, doesn't talk to his backbenchers. He then goes ahead and does stuff massively unpopular with the backbenchers, unpopular with the public, and then he has to U-turn. In what way does that say to you he's doing a good job?
Well, you've made up your mind, you see. You're attacking him constantly. You've been doing it week in,
because he's a rubbish prime minister.
No, he's not. He's doing
Tell me one thing he's done that would suggest he's not a rubbish prime minister.
I think all the things that he's done in relation to Ukraine,
What?
Well, he's
continued the former policy of the last party.
At this very minute, Julia, he is leading. Oh. He's chairing the coalition of the willing.
Oh, so proud of him. And what's happening there? Nothing. Come on.
Of course it is.
Is that the best you've got? What has he done for people in Britain?
You ask Zelensky what's happening there. I'll tell you what he's doing, and that is helping working people, raising the minimum wage, employment rights for people.
Well, have you seen the unemployment rate?
The special educational needs.
Have you seen it? Well, the parents with special educational needs kids aren't happy. Nobody works in that field thinks these reforms are good. And those reforms, by the way, are going to take years. Raising the minimum wage, that's great for people who've got a job until they don't have a job, because businesses are currently laying people off and they're not hiring new people. The unemployment rate has gone up as a result of that and the national insurance hike. So you think that's a success?
So the chairman of these huge companies making millions of pounds and getting millions of pounds
Most people don't work for huge companies. Most people work for small businesses employing under 100 people, and they can't afford.
The minimum wage is too much. They think it's too much to pay.
No, they don't think it's too much. Those people don't add 26 grand's worth of value, so they don't hire them.
How much do you get paid, Julia? Could you tell us?
Well, more than the minimum wage.
How much? Come on, tell me.
What I'm paid is entirely my business and my employer's business.
Why is it your business?
Why is it? Because I'm not a public employee. No one else is made to pay, not even my audience are made to pay my wages. My wages are between me and my employer.
But it would be interesting to know.
Well, what's that relevant? I've done minimum wage jobs, but that's nonsense. But that's I mean, I know what you're paid as a peer because that's in the public domain, because you're paid by taxpayers. So it's my business as a taxpayer and a voter. But it's not your business what I earn, because you don't have to pay my wages.
Well, we do eventually.
But yes, I earn a lot more than minimum wage. Of course I do. I've done minimum wage jobs, and most people earn more than minimum wage, funnily enough.
Good.
But raising minimum wage hasn't helped a lot of people. If you can keep a job, you'll be better off. But with the cost of living continuing to go up, with energy and net zero and all of that, and with employers not taking more people on, they're not going to be able to negotiate pay rises. Overall, I think that people are going to be worse off. But you still think that's a good thing that Keir Starmer's done?
One of the things that you haven't mentioned, and most of the people in the media haven't mentioned, is that the economic situation is now better than it's been for many, many years.
I mean, what statistic?
Since records began, Julia.
Record 1980. What statistic? Unemployment's up.
No, look, the economic...
Cost of living is still going. I mean, inflation's still above the Bank of England aim. On what basis do you think that my audience are listening to this going, you know what, never had it so good?
The Institute for Fiscal Studies director was on television saying that the economy is better than it's ever been. I think he knows better than you, Julia. He knows better than me.
I mean, can someone look that up? I'd love to see that quote. Lord Foulkes, we'll have to leave it now. We really will. I don't know why I bothered doing an economics degree. I clearly don't understand the economy. But I'm pretty sure neither does Rachel Reeves. Lord Foulkes, we'll have to leave it there simply because we've got to get to get another guest. Labour peer, former Minister under Tony Blair. Do